Good morning, friends. Today I have brought a very brand new video on SAP FICO Interview Topics Part 1. Basically, this interview topic itself is so vast and huge that uh, I cannot cover up all the topics in a single video, and that is why I have decided to prepare it into multiple parts. It can be anything between 3 to 5 or maybe even more than that parts, but that is how I have planned for it, because this topic is not a static topic as such. 10 years 15 years ago it used to be very small, and I will say it was very much limited number of topics on which people used to prepare for the interview. But as of today, in the year 2025, when I am recording this video, the scope and the area of coverage during the interview has grown up exponentially. It is not limited to just one area or one component as such. It has really expanded too much. I have myself 12 plus years of work experience in this field. In FICO working specifically. Otherwise, overall 18 years of work experience I have. So you can easily understand how much understanding I will have with regard to these topics. So before I proceed further, a general request to all the people who will watch this video. Please like this video, watch it till the end because it has many beautiful details which will be helpful to you to prepare for the interview, or at least it will show you what all things you are supposed to have a touch base with. At least you should know something about it, and share this video in your network. You may not need it, but your friend or your colleague might need it. Who knows, that person might be preparing for the interview and need some guidance and inputs. So please help others as well by sharing this video link in your circle, in your network, in your group. And in spite of having all these things, if you have still some query or something like that, please feel free to put up your comments in the comment section of this video on the YouTube. There is no hesitation in terms of asking any kind of question, no matter even if it is a stupid question. It's okay. It is a stupid question for others, not for you who is asking for it. I always appreciate those people who stop hesitating and start asking. Never ever hesitate to ask any doubts and questions if it has in your mind and you want an answer for the same. So without further delay, let's move forward. So what is the context of this video? I think some context I have already given by now, but to give you precise context, as I said, there will be multiple videos. At least 4 to 5 is what I am expecting, because one video cannot cover up so many things and so many areas as well. And remember, FI and CO guys particularly are the ones who are always at the bottom of the pyramid of the SAP setup. They are always at the receiving end. Most of the business processes independently do not start in the FI or CO area. It starts somewhere else in different modules, and finally it ends in the SAP FICO area. That is how usually the value flows. So that's why I said we are at the bottom of the pyramid of SAP. Always, at any given point of time. Let it be P2P process, OTC process, any other process. somewhere down the line it will hit your books of accounts. So let's go to the contents of this video, what all things we are going to cover up in this first part of this interview preparation video. So for a FICO interview, what all things we are going to cover up into this particular video is conceptual topics in FI and CO module. Please remember here one thing, though I have tried to cover up as many topics as possible, but the list into conceptual topics are also too much, and I may not be able to cover up every nut and bolt of it. It is really not possible because the scope is continuously growing. And then we will also talk about FI and CO integration topics with other SAP modules. So only these two areas we are going to cover up as part of this video. Let's proceed further without delay. So I am starting it from the conceptual topics, from the basic settings. In our old days, I remember people used to say something around 22 to 24 steps you configure in the system, then all your basic settings will get complete. Similar way, but now the number of settings and other things have literally grown up. Now it is not the same, it is actually too many. Old settings are still there, but lot of new settings are also added up. So we need to go through the all the things. So let me just read out few things, and I will try to cover up as many topics as possible. We have many slides in this video, so we'll try to go a little fast, otherwise this video will become very long. We have basic settings, so all those settings you should know: company code, business area, fiscal year variant, posting period variant, and field status variant. Remember, under fiscal year also you have lot many things like dependent fiscal year, independent fiscal year, calendar fiscal year, non-calendar fiscal year, and short-term fiscal year. All the five you should know with an example. And in which scenario which one will be used, that also you should know. Then you have retained earnings accounts. Can you have a multiple retained earnings accounts? Yes, no, why, and justification. Then new GL setup and old classic GL setup and related settings, leading and non-leading ledger settings, usage, and when it will be used, what all things you need to do, and then accounting principles, tolerance setup for employees and others, then company, or it is also called as trading partner, credit control area, functional area, FI org structure, very important. Then special purpose ledger, if at all is being used. Then OB52, which is nothing but your kind of, you can say, the posting period related item. Then global company code, OBYC setup, VAT number, all the important tables right from T001 to what all things you have. Then default settings which can be used, country currency, country, and if your country has 3 places after the decimal to be used or 5 places after the decimal to be used, and there are many things like that. All these things you must have some or the other idea. If you don't have, then you will definitely miss out some of the questions which you could have answered otherwise if you would have been aware of all these things. Let's move to the next slide. Then you also have universal ledger, the features of the AC DOCA table, standard and extension ledger, parallel accounting, currency and ledger settings, month-end and year-end activities, trading partner, as I was saying in the previous slide, then tax procedures, tax conditions, accounting standard. You might have heard of IAS. So that also can have sometimes a question. Then system landscape, different kind of issues and errors you have faced during the basic settings setup and how did you fix it? Nothing but the resolutions or solutions. All these things, again, as I said, this is not the entire list. This is the list what all came to my mind. I have just jotted down as much as I could. Let's move further. Now coming to the GL accounts. What all things will be coming up under GL accounts? You have chart of account. This chart of account or COA itself has some other categories like operative chart of account, group chart of account, country specific chart of account. Many people are not even aware of these basic things also. I am the one who keeps on taking regular interviews and sees all such kind of scenarios. Then we have account groups. Account groups also has field status, please remember, and that also controls lot of things. Then FSG field status group, and then we have financial statement version FSV, hold and park document, foreign currency valuations, realized and unrealized gains, OBA1 settings. So many things are there in that. Please remember all those things in your mind. Then you have cash general, input tax and output tax setup, sample document, recurring document, document types, posting keys, SDRO. People might get confused. What is SDRO? It is nothing but suppressed, display, required and optional. The four different field status which SAP offers for any given field in the SAP system. It can be any one of them at any given point of time. Then different kind of valuation methods, exchange rates, local currency, number ranges, line item management and open item management, and how it can be converted between each other, settings related to the auto postings, short key, reconciliation account, alternate GL account number, accrual and deferred transactions, how to do the setup, how the postings will happen, what will be the impact with some examples, document splitting setup with steps, various methods of document splitting and with examples, tax settings on the GL account and etc. As I said, the list is very long. Moving to the next. Coming to the AR side. AR is accounts receivable, nothing but your customer side. So customer screen layout, account groups for the customer, number ranges, business partner setup and related settings, business roles and their usage. Please remember some of the roles name. It can be asked very much. Then down payment, special GL indicator, invoice, payment, dunning. Dunning itself is a big topic. Please prepare well. Then grace period, payment terms, dunning forms, output tax code, FTXP settings and others. Then customer master data will have three parts: general data, company code data and sales area data. Some people are so dumb that they are not even knowing all these things. So because of that, if they are not able to answer it well in the interview, they get rejected. Then net off. If you don't know what is net off, please check on the Google. Then partial and residual clearing, various kind of reports related to your accounts receivable, and if at all you have touch base with FSCM module also, then you should prepare for credit management, collection management and dispute management. These three things are very much used, and if you are working for any USA client, they are the ones who are using it mostly. So all these things, kindly prepare it very well. Moving to the next, conceptual topics related to AP, accounts payable. What all things we have? We have vendor screen layout, rules, account groups, number ranges, down payment, special GL indicator, invoice payment term, and we have payment. In vendor payment, we have two types: manual payment after 53 and automatic payment program. Automatic payment program also has lot of settings in it, and under each setting has lot of settings. There are 6 steps, but then there are people I have seen who doesn't not know all the steps also in the sequence. That was really very surprising to me. But frankly speaking, I have seen many candidates who are not able to tell me that also in a right manner. So please prepare well. This is very much needed. Then we have payment terms, input tax code. Then same way vendor also we have three types, three areas: general data, company code data, and the purchase org data. Purchase org is related to your site. Then net off, partial net residual clearing happens here as well. AP reports, FBGP settings, nothing but your APP settings. Then you have EBS setup, electronic bank statement setup, nothing but your OT83. Then setup of the DME files, search strings, house bank key, IBAN number, payment methods, MT940, BAI 1 and 2. These are all nothing but your file format, SEPA. Then you will ask, what is H2H? It is called as host to host connection, and this is used specifically for your statement, electronic bank statement part. And then withholding tax setup. One important point where I have missed out over ahead, which I have not mentioned, is lockbox. Lockbox also is a process in itself, and there are a lot of other things. If you are using in-house cache, for example, then lot of other settings also will come into the picture. So all these things will come under your AP. Let's move further. Coming to the asset account. This is again a very critical module, or rather I will say sub-module, about which most of the people, most of the candidates are not confident about it. Probably either they haven't got a chance to explore, or they purposely, or for some or the other reason, they have ignored this particular and very important module. I will suggest everybody who is preparing for the interview, please prepare for this area very well. This is a very vast area to cover. So let's go through it. We have asset class that itself has many settings: screen layout, number ranges, AUC process, IO and WBS. AUC can be handled into two different ways: internal order and with the WBS element. Remember, this WBS element comes under your project systems, which is a separate module in itself. Then the link between general ledger and asset accounting, chart of depreciation, depreciation area, depreciation key, depreciation methods, asset master, depreciation run, low value assets, amortization, leasing, acquisition, retirement, transfer. Here I am referring to asset transfer, which can be intercompany asset transfer or intracompany asset transfer, as the case may be. You should know the both. Then asset upload, AS91, value date, depreciation start date, impairment, revaluation of the asset, cutoff value, account determination, year-end close activity, asset reports, various important tables, and its linkage with other modules. And not to forget, asset accounting has too many different kind of business scenarios as well, which I have not mentioned here, but that also will come up. All these things will cover up your asset accounting area, which you should master as much as you can. Moving to the next. Now coming to the controlling. For controlling I have kept two slides. Okay, this is the first one. So what all things we will see in CO, that is nothing but SAP controlling based on your experience and exposure. Org structure used in the controlling module, operating concern and its related setup, characteristics and value fields, controlling area settings, there are so many. Then controlling document types and number ranges, controlling version, costing based and accounting based COPA, that is nothing but controlling and profitability analysis, a submodule within CO, product costing, costing sheet, costing variant, markup and release of the material cost. Then you also have CO periods, make to order and make stock scenarios, various tables and important fields in the CO side. Then standard and moving average price used in the material master, various issues which you might have handled in the product costing and COPA and its resolution, nothing but solution of those errors or issues which you have faced in your real time work. All these things will come under your CO. Let's move to the another slide which is covering CO some other areas like cost center and cost center group, profit center and profit center group, assessment and distribution, activity types, internal order setup and its connection with AUC process, WBS creation and AUC process. Then investment measure, cost planning, plan versus actual, budget planning for cost center and internal order, various reports for cost center, profit center and internal order and WBS settlements, and apart from that various other issues which you might have faced in your CO area and their respective resolutions. Please remember, if you are working in a support project, you must prepare at least few tickets on each of these things. It will really help you a lot when you are facing such kind of questions in the interview. Remember one thing, writing something in a resume is very easy, but when it comes to performing the same thing during the interview, it becomes extremely difficult. That too, given today the competition for each job opportunity is so high that unless you fall under one of the best category to be selected by the panel members, your chances of getting through an interview is really very tough. It is not easy anymore. Earlier it used to be, today it is not available at all. That too, we have chat GPT and other kind of future technologies. People are using it, but then cheating won't help here. You have to prepare no matter how you want to do it. It's all up to you. Let's move further. We have a lot of other slides to cover up. Integration topics. Very interesting topic, but very complex as well. It can be related to RFC connection if you have done something like that, or at least if you have some idea what is RFC connection. Then interface development for any third-party systems if you have worked on, various data upload methods like LTMC, LSMW, data migration cockpit, BTC, background job creation and scheduling. Then there can be ABAP dump error, user exits, BAPI and body, field mapping, AL11 and various folders creation. Hope you remember what is AL11. This is a place where your EBS files are getting stored and many other files as well. It is not just about EBS, there are many things. Then incoming and outgoing IDOCs, how that works. If you know, then also about the workflow setup, Vim and open text setup and the related processes, different business scenarios, chart of authority and so on. If I start talking, I don't know where I will end. That lengthy and huge the topic list is. But then I said try to cover up as many as I could and whatever came to my mind, I have prepared this accordingly. Let's move further. Now we will talk specifically about FI and SD integration in this slide. What all things we need to cover. Then we have VKOA setup and also some settings related to the OBYC. If you are confused why OBYC has come into picture here, then refer to your PGI posting how that will happen. Then various condition types which is used, COFI, KOFK, and people can prepare sometimes their own condition types as well. I have seen in some clients they do like that. Then various access sequences given by the SAP standard system we should be aware of. Transaction keys, GL accounts and provisional GL accounts. Valuation class, accounting and costing views of the material master. Finished goods, sales order, delivery, post goods issue, billing and invoice, and accounting document generation, customer payments. Tax conditions, different business scenarios in SAP SD module like third party sales, consignment process, and so on. All these things, again, the list is very long. I am not covering everything, but all these things can come up during your interview discussion with regard to FI and SD integration. Moving to the next. Now we will talk about FI and integration. So here you will have OBYC and OMJJ setup. Please go through it. Then various movement types and its usage, transaction keys, valuation class, accounting and costing views of material master, GRIR clearing, various issues attached to it. Remember F.13. Then we have material types, extension of material from one plant to another, material valuation approaches, purchase order, MIGO and MIRO entries, material ledger concepts, tax conditions, intercompany and intercompany stock transfer order, nothing but STO, and so on. Remember, lot of things still I think I have missed out over here, but then I have tried to cover up as many as I can. So FICO interview is not an easy task anymore. The more you prepare, the better you will feel about it. Let's move further. Integration topics with other modules. Now you will see what all areas it can have a touch base with other than whatever we have discussed so far. FI and PP integration. PP is nothing but your production planning integration. You have work center, its usage. Then FI HR, human resource, or HCM, human capital management integration. Nowadays we also have something called as success factors. If you are aware, well and good. Then you have personal area in 4 types. HR mini master setup. Still some people are some clients are using it and its usage. FIPS, PS means project systems. COPS, controlling and project systems integration. If you have some exposure to dispute management, collection management and credit management in FSCM, this I have mentioned before also, but here I have mentioned it from FSCM perspective. If you have, here I am talking about, if you know all these things more in detail, good for you. Within each areas there are so many different topics. I am not going into detail of it, otherwise FSCM itself is a big module. Then we also have something called as funds management, real estate, REFX, TRM module, treasury, grants management, investment management, and so on. All the above things will have connection with SAP's FICO somewhere down the line, and it will fetch the data from here or there, and either otherwise it will be passing on data to FICO. All kind of things do happen. So these are the topics related to other modules other than FIMM and FISD integration. Moving to the next. Now I have come to talk on what is my personal understanding or personal view on the SAP FICO interview preparation topics. First and foremost thing is, each interview you give is a unique. Any two interview in your life will never be exactly one and same. So please prepare for each interview differently. Do not go with the same mindset that particular questions are asked into one interview. Same all set of questions will get repeated into the next interview and you will be able to clear it off. It is never like that. Each client, each person who is going to take your interview also is different, with a different mindset, with a different experience coming to the panel member. So they will ask questions based on their understanding, their expectations and their requirements. So if you have in mind that one size fits all, this is not going to work. You have to prepare for each interview in a different way by looking at the JD and some common questions. Then you also need to regularly keep revising all these things. Remember one thing, everything at the time of interview you will not be able to recall unless you revise them on a regular basis. And you should also know what is happening latest in the SAP industry as such as of now. Remember when the ECC was there and HANA was not there in the picture at all, that time too many changes were not happening in the SAP industry as such. But today, due to the technological advancement and lot of improvements in the system architecture, every now and then new things are coming up. Anyway, this is the first part of my interview preparation topics. There are many more parts of this video will come up. We'll try to cover up other topics. Then it is very important that you should learn something new about the SAP on a daily basis, and this goes for freshers and experienced people both in the similar fashion. There is no changes, there is no differentiation between freshers and the experienced hands. Just because you are an experienced person doesn't mean that you don't need to revise anything at all. You also need to revise it. You are not an exception. You are not an exception. Please keep this point in mind. And very important is, for SAP interview there is nothing called as syllabus. There is nothing called as syllabus. Remember, it is not an exam where you will have given a syllabus, you prepare based on the syllabus and attend the exam and pass it. Interview is a different ball game altogether, and the scope of an interview and a certification exam are two different items altogether. You just cannot compare these two items. If you compare, you are fooling yourself. You are making a laughing stock of yourself. You are not doing anything else. And people who understand these things, they will understand these things even better. So don't have a fixed mindset. You should be always open to learn, and that is how you should take it forward as well. Moving to the next, coming to the conclusion part of it. I have just given few things. There can be many more things, but since it is a conclusion, I do not want to drag it much. First thing is, you should always prepare the deep level. Do not have only surface level knowledge. I have seen in the interview many people do not have even surface level knowledge. People with 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of experience, they don't know lot of basic stuffs. It is very surprising to me, but I really do not have a choice. I have to literally reject them, because I need to see that my company is not paying to the people who do not deserve to be in the job. And that way I am a dead honest person. Then detailed coverage. What I mean by detailed coverage is, you should cover up as many areas as possible within a given area and sub area. because you never know from which angle which questions will be asked, from which scenario, from which perspective. The moment certain parameters are changed, the entire look and feel changes. And then there are so many settings. SAP is basically a bundle of settings, a big bundle of settings. Then whenever you are going for the interview, please study the job description given to you in detail and prepare accordingly. Very, very important. And one very common thing which I have found is most of the people feel that they are very nervous during the interview. I don't know why. Why don't they practice in advance? Is the interviewer going to kill them? Is the interview is going to harm them? Remember, interview is just a discussion. Discussion of your skills, your experiences, your attitude, and so on. Basically, interview is a 360-degree coverage of your knowledge, experience, personality, your soft skills, your hard skills, and the list goes on. It is a 360-degree coverage. Please remember that. So, this self-confidence helps you to go through it with the best possible picture of yourself. Then, finally, to conclude this video, I will say, pause, please practice, and please practice. Without practice, you will never become closer to the perfection. I am not saying you will become perfect. Becoming perfect is an idea which is very hard to achieve. But the more closer to perfection you will become, the more confident you will become to face any kind of interview. So that's it in this video. Let's move further. We have already discussed lot of things. Still, if you have any query, any doubt, any confusion which you want to clarify with me on a specific topic, on a specific question, feel free to drop your email on the given email ID below. Moving next. Thank you so much for spending time till now on this video. I really appreciate that you are eager to learn these things, and that is why you have watched all the way till the end. Thank you so much once again. Kindly like this video, subscribe this YouTube channel, share it in your network, and let everybody be aware of what all things an interviewer is going to ask in an interview. And remember, the scope of the interview is growing day by day. It is not a fixed component and it is not a static item. It is literally a variable and expandable item. So, unless we also expand our knowledge base, our experience based, our understanding base on a regular level, cracking an SAP interview will always pose us a big challenge in front of us. If we have to crack that, we need to be well prepared for it. That's it as part of this video. Thank you once again. Wish you all a great day ahead. Thank you. Bye bye.